Hi, I'm Paige. We are here at the CoreNet show in Chicago, bringing you insights from the executives at the show that are really delivering good, useful information about the end user. And I am here with Phillip Grossberg, who's also an executive at Time Warner Cable and a CoreNet board member. And Phillip, there's a lot of end users here. So as you sit in both roles, as an actual executive of the corporation, employing real estate to the company's betterment, and a CoreNet board member, how do you think the show is delivering?
Well, if you just go back to the why there's so many end users here at this event, as in the past, we've had some issues about bringing that end user participation. I really think that it goes to a shift in the industry, and really the blur between the line between end user and service provider has occurred more than ever now. With the economy and the way it's headed, and the response to by the companies, and they're downsizing, they're becoming much more transparent. The need to reach out to the service provider community as an extension of the corporate real estate department has really the trend has really gone harsh that way. And so I think that it's a direct result of why there's so many end users here, is because there's such a greater engagement now. It used to be that the end user could sit back in his little cubby hole and then throw out his fishing line whenever you needed any help. Sharks would attack. You'd pick one and you'd go on your daily life. But today you have to be much more engaged with the service community. You have to know who's who. You have to know what resources you can reach to, because quite frankly, my department really is made up mostly of service providers. We have some in-house folks, but we're so very lean in the way that company has to be responsible to the bottom line that we need to leverage the resources outside of the company much more than inside the company. So I think it's a great showing for what CoreNet has to offer. The CoreNet life has shifted that way. It's much more a community than it's ever been before, and so I'm very excited about that trend. I'm very much involved in that trend. It's very much part of my business. It's something that I've been very involved with as a leader at the Carolinas chapter in making the Carolinas a community, and I think that's why we've had some tremendous success in the Carolinas chapter and the growth of that chapter, and it's a direct reflection on what's happening here at the Chicago Summit.
Well, it's a huge kudo then to be able to get that end user perspective, especially like you're talking about. There's a lot of outsourcing, and you are using a lot of best practices from the service providers to deliver value. Absolutely. So your role, like you said, is very lean, and you have to work very smart. So this is a trend that we're seeing in really the difference that the CRE role is today, and how your job has really changed and the jobs of others. I mean, how do you kind of create that balance between the new skills and delivering value to the company in your role?
Yeah, well, I think the internal corporate real estate executive is much more of a puller of resources, a manager of resources. I've been a working manager for a long time, but I just don't have the capacity to stay deep into the projects as I used to. And so now, really engaging, getting to know the services that are out there, and the broad range of services. And also the interaction between service providers is much more essential for the growth of the industry. So, I say to people, it may be good to know me if you want to do a project with Time Warner Cable, but it's really good to know a JLL if you want to construct a building for us, because they're the ones that really do all the evaluation. Or for an architectural firm to know JLL, for example, because they're the ones that make those choices for me. They advise me on that. I'll get you on the bid list, but you're the ones that really have to work with these teams to prove your worth. And so that combination has really shifted my role as an executive to be really much more of a coordinator of those services.
Well, it's a broad role you carry, and I know that a lot of different corporations are looking at using the best resources, but also how can they plan for growth in an uncertain economic environment, and how do you then look forward in your business and really anticipate those needs and risks?
Well, you talk about two different aspects. You talk about the growth of the business in your own company, or you talk about the growth and the service of your department. I'll just speak to the growth of the service in the department. I mean, our company is growing exceptionally well. We've been pretty recession resilient, and so we've had a lot of great fortune with that. And so we're really at the edge of the capacity of my staff to manage the new projects that we have and the growth that we have and the transition and the consolidation of some of our operations. And so, again, I lean on the growth of my relationship with our service providers to really extend and have the flexibility to respond to that need. And also, you have the ability to scale, obviously. That's, I mean, one of the real things that these companies provide is you ramp up. The companies have tremendous resources. You ramp back down when you don't need it. And so we're luckily in a ramp-up stage right now. So, we're enjoying the relationship and the extension of that relationship and the growth and the capacities of the companies we work with.
Okay. Well, Phillip, this is very good information. I heard of statistics here that I think there's some odd 2,000 people at the conference. And how many of those are the end users?
50% are end users, which is a tremendous trend. So it goes back to what we first talked about, is the real engagement of the end users. And I've been walking through some of these sessions and checking out the participation. It's absolutely phenomenal. So we're really excited, and we're looking forward to the next one in Atlanta. And as a new member of the board, I'm very excited about putting some new blood in there and really getting some challenges and growing the business. It's a very, very serious board. It's a very serious business. It's something that in the first few meetings that I just attended really got the transformation of coming from the local chapter and the growth that we've had, but really taking on the global organization and the responsibility of being on that board. It's a pretty heavy responsibility, and I'm very excited about taking it on.
Okay, well, Phillip, congrats to you guys and the rest of the board members for a very successful event. I'd like you to stay tuned. We're going to bring you more insights from the floor of the CoreNet show here in Chicago.